So that's Rush Limbaugh, and I want to thank him and Sean Hannity, Sarah Palin, and Matt Drudge, and everybody else in their scores who are trying to save this republic. And not just from the Democrats either. I just want you to know that in Washington, D.C., what are the Republicans doing? The Republicans have joined in with the Democrats. As a matter of fact, the Democrats are hanging back and watching the Republican leadership, the Republican consultants, the Republican National Committee, the National Republican Senatorial Committee, the National Campaign Congressional Committee. They have all like these communist names, with all the NCCC, NRSC, RNC, whatever. But anyway, they're trashing Heritage Action. They're trashing Club for Growth. They're trashing the Tea Party Patriots. They're trashing Freedom Works. They're trashing all the organizations, all the conservative groups. And one of the organizations within the House, headed by, I think, the guys from South Carolina, this guy Scalise, he's in the back pocket. He's in Boehner's back pocket, and he's supposed to be running the conservative, in essence, what is the conservative caucus within the Republican House. But apparently he's been, Boehnerized. So when I coin the word Boehner care, I mean it. If this thing is not defunded, it is Boehner care. Because the Speaker of the House and his henchmen are using every parliamentary trick in the book, every fundraising threat imaginable, every leak to the liberal media possible to thwart the efforts to try and end this abomination, this Boehner care. Now, Mike Lee and Ted Cruz, Ted Cruz's office has contacted me. Mike Lee has contacted me in the recent past. They'd like you to go to don'tfundobamacare.com. Let's put that up on the site, Mr. Producer. Don'tfundobamacare.com. They want you to sign up. They have almost 1 million signatures. We want to get them over 1 million now. Doesn't cost you a penny. This is for you. They're trying to show that there's a substantial number of people who've had enough of this. Now, I'm going to tell you, I already know what's going to happen here. Karl Rove. Karl Rove is just one person, but he is illustrative of scores, if not hundreds, of inside operators who are perfectly comfortable with big government. Grover Norquist, he's another one. Oh, they have their little issues here and there, but in the end, they're perfectly comfortable with this. They have taken no effective steps to fight it, and in fact, in the case of Rove, he's been providing talking points to Republicans to fight us. So this notion, elect more Republicans, you see, more establishment Republicans, that'll fix everything. It'll fix nothing. Nothing. And these establishment Republicans, you know what? They're actually quite stupid. They're very stupid people. Now, while they may make out very, very well in their think tanks or giving speeches or as lobbyists or inside-outside types, whatever you want to call it, they personally doing very, very well. They don't give a damn about you. The fact is, this is a losing political strategy. It's a loser. As of right now, as I speak, neither political party represents most of the American people when it comes to Obamacare. We have the statists, as I call them, on the left, and the neo-statists, as I call the Republican leadership in Washington. The statists and the neo-statists. And people keep saying, oh, all we need to do is let's elect more Republicans. So what? Well, let's fight it. You've got a primary going on in South Carolina. Is Lindsey Graham going to win or lose? You've got a primary going on in Kentucky. Is Mitch McConnell going to win or lose? But you see, a lot of these battles are fixed, too. Our forces are divided. The establishment pours in millions and millions of dollars getting behind their candidates because these incumbents have enormous power. And these private businesses and labor groups and so forth, they don't want to wind up on the wrong side. So they pander to them. They help load up their campaign treasury. And it gets harder and harder to defeat them. Not impossible. We have a couple of examples, like Cruz, among others, and Rand Paul and Mike Lee. But that's it. Handful. And these same people, they will lament the size of government. They will lament, taxes. They will lament all the regulations, and they don't bend a finger to stop it.
Mark Levin.
Well, my friends, I've given this a lot of thought. I'm going to make a statement. Not that it'll matter to anybody, but I'll make a statement because I can. I think John Boehner has done a terrible job as Speaker, despite his sycophants, golfing partners, and others praising his impossible job and impossible work. That's bullcrap. A leader would take that job, grab it by the horns, and wrestle it to the ground. That's not Boehner. Since he's been Speaker, the federal government has massively grown. Since he's been Speaker, no effective steps have been taken to counter what Obama's been doing in an unconstitutional way. Nothing. Since he's been Speaker, Obamacare has been implemented and has been on a fast track to implement it despite the President's illegal and unconstitutional mangling of that law. I see no progress under this Speaker, despite what others have said. Now, the fact of the matter is that conservatives and Tea Party activists across the country made him Speaker in the 2010 election. And he's been an ingrate, an absolute ingrate. From day one, when those freshmen showed up, those conservative Tea Party members, he moved immediately to take control over them, and he succeeded in about half the cases. Like a spider catching them in his web. They've used committee assignments, they've used fundraising and spending to reward those who buckle under and punish those who don't. So I have to tell you, as somebody who cares about restoring the Republic, about defending what's left of the Constitution, about somebody who is scared about the debt that's piling up and the future for our children, that if I lived in John Boehner's congressional district, I would not vote for him. I could not bring myself to do it. He hasn't earned it. And I'd want to send a message that would scare the Republican leadership in Washington down to their $300 polished loafers. And to the Democrats, too. I'd want to send a message. And it is a message that they need. Oh, I understand I'm persona non grata within the Beltway, within the Republican apparatus, with all their little apparatchiks dressed up as conservative leaders, defended by various websites and columns. None of that matters to me. Zero. I wrote the book because I think they all need to be bypassed. And they really do. But if it were me and I were living in his district, there's no way I could vote for him. No way. All I know that when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, she was powerful. She didn't take no for an answer. Well, Mark, she had a Democrat president. Absolutely true. And you know what? This is what separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls. It's called leadership. When the Speaker and his leadership team are spending more time trashing conservative organizations and conservatives than effectively dealing with the President of the United States, who is as radical as they come, he shouldn't be Speaker anymore. I'll be right back.